And we are live. Welcome to Tradespotting. Thank you for your patience. Today it's this camera because that's the only camera I've got left. The other is in another location. Location. Where is GME? Let's get down to it. This chart is IEF. That's a 7 to 10 year Treasury bond. We're also going to take a quick look at TLT. That's the 20 years. It's conforming to the support and resistance lines that we've got on here. It's done well, came in, take our low, came up to this target area, another entry. And now things looking a little bit sketchy with a gap on the charts, as you can see on the 7 to 10 year tracker as well. I think that's very relevant to the price of GME and AMC because the worst kept secret in Unreasonable Land is bing bong, the price is wrong. That because one large liquidity provider, among others, perhaps, but certainly at least one, is critically at danger because of their overall position, which includes a heavy short position on 10-year Treasury bonds. So what we like to see is when these bonds go down, the price of our favorite assets, pardon me, teamwork makes the dream work. The price of our favorite assets, which I'll get to now. Hold on, please bear with me. Microphone's working, everything looks good. Okay, great. GME up 1.9% today. Stretch that out. We like to see this go up as those two bonds go down. Partly because it has a negative beta in comparison to that particular asset. Those two trackers, but also importantly because there are lots of dangers on the horizon. Bing, bing, bong. Thank you so much, Corey Legend. Never break the chain. Thanks, Corey. Love you, buddy. That's very generous. Cheers. So the point I was just about to, pardon me, are you okay? The point I was thinking about trying to make there was that we like to see our stocks, GME and AMC, our companies, this inherent negative beta. It's fantastic. We've had it for a long time. A lot of people doubted it was even possible. We spoke about it ahead of the event and said it's going to happen. And what we'd like to see is that trend accelerate now. And in particular, look at that little dude looking down there. In particular, we'd like to see GME accelerate ahead of the general equity market as well as the bond market. And even if it's going up, to see GME go up in greater leaps and bounds. But that doesn't mean that there is no down ahead of us. We're up 1.15% today. GME and the AMC, on the other hand, down over 2% currently at 36.84. Post-market prices 35 spot 92. So it's not all plain sailing ahead for each of these assets. They may plot a different course, and each will determine their own fate. Although the market participants are largely the same, I suspect these assets are being treated differently. And anybody who tells you that the charts are the same hasn't tuned into Tradespotting often enough. So onto the daily time frame. Well, we're on the daily time frame, and let's go through what happened with GME price action today. You can see we've got a number of targets set out on the charts on AMC and GME. We'll start on AMC because that's where we're here. And we talked about this potential low coming in at this area on Friday. Was this here? Friday, yep, we got that low. We talked about then on Monday, prices perhaps opening higher, which would give us a abandoned baby and suggest that there was continuation to the upside. We hoped that Monday would then close above 39.04, having opened above 37.70 to give us a piercing pattern, which would then lead to, we hope, further continuation of that trend and ultimately lead into a reversal of this greater downward movement. And that was what we wanted to see in AMC today. And how did it go? Well, at the start of the day, the end of the day, a story of two halves. Let's get down to the 5-minute time frame. Shucks, well, let's treat ourselves right down to the 1 minute. Slap on the automatos. I say automatos, you say automatos. Let's all just by GME. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, hey, you had lots of different flashes. You had support and resistance levels that were relevant during the day. 26th ended here. And things went very much as we expected they would. If you haven't seen it, tune in to Tradespotting's Friday's episodes. If the YouTube won't let you see it in your area, fuck, I don't know what to do anymore, eh? I mean, I do. Like, it's on you. You have to tune in live because we get blocked now during the show. They don't wait till we finish. So this was price action on Friday. We were looking for this to form a low. We spoke about this being a pivot area up at around 37.99, having put in this area of volatility, this volatility signature, Rocky Outcrop's flash. What an amazing indicator. And we were thinking, you really want to be opening above these levels, right? Right on that spot or above, or at least heading straight to it, and then putting in a really strong daily candle. On your RSI, you can see you've recovered above the center line, though you've lost your own moving average. On the minute time frame, I would suggest this looks like a big bounce. We know it starts off well, so you can see that you've got this period of volatility is about to start. You've got another flash forming here down on Rocky's DMI. Eddie Q, I missed the Friday member stream, but I heard it was a good one. GME, let's freaking go. Boom, 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 let's freaking go. Tradespotting, what's the Friday stream? Well, it wasn't members only on Friday. It was just YouTube's geographic restrictions. So I suppose it was for the most diligent of us who managed to turn up on time. Like, I can criticize anyone for that ever. Great to see, Eddie. I'll try as time goes on to cut pieces out and put these videos back up for everybody else, but it's super difficult, to get the time, right? It really is not enough hours in the day, not enough days in the week. Not enough years in a life. That's fucking true, right? So, pardon my language, this is what we're looking at. Let's push play and see how things go. Boom, straight up there. You've got another area to come back to at 37.63. Not all's well. There it goes, touched it. This good move to start the day. Tested similar move on the RSI, having gone beyond the center line of it after this recovery and price action. Back up to these levels, that's good to see. Can't persist in that bullish control zone at all. Smacked out of it, right down to the bearish control zone. Broke through horizontals. Obviously, that's going to lead to continuation. This is the area of support you're looking for in around 36 and change. High 35s. Some sort of a bounce there. A degree of bullish divergence would be nice. Let's get it up and see. You've gone much lower on the chart. You haven't managed to put in bullish divergence in and of itself. You have recovered above that support, which people would look to and think was great, but drop on the Fibonacci. See, the 236, sure, but didn't get above the 0.5, never even made it to the 618. Failure towards the golden pocket. If you get there again, I'd suggest that'd likely be resistance. Drop a horizontal line in for later. You can see that this upward slope and demand line, that which is relevant even on a weekly time frame, coming through here and being relevant with regards to bounces. So much volatility potential here in the low time frames with this thing, and those are significant percentage moves despite the fact they're on a 1 minute time frame and never really broke this macro range. So then we can go back up the time frame, see it on the 15 minute. That was consolidation at this high, perhaps distribution at a lower high. I suspect this is a difficult period for price action here. It is trying to get above the center line in 15 minutes, and we have this volatility flash potential coming in. So whichever way it goes, it may come back. Topside resistance marked in here, 37.77. You're hoping to put in a higher low from this previous area at around 36, high 35s. That would be in the low 36 again, and drop down at the bottom side of this demand line. That's possible and still bullish if it's a higher low, but I'd love to see prices persist above this 236 on significant time frames. Here it is on the hourly. You can see you had your strong move to the 0.5, a 50% retracement. Dow theory would suggest that if you fail there, it'll be a continuation of the previous move, i.e. down to the bottom. He did put a lot of weight on halves and thirds. I'd like to see 2/3 personally above the golden pocket and beyond. And really, I look at the 786 and the 886 to say that you've broken the previous moves. I know that takes you quite far back up here, but it would also be up at your significant horizontal levels. You need to break here. And it was only on the 1 minute time frame we drew it out. It's a very small leg of price action, so it's not asking all that much to see it up there. It's just a little bit weak, yeah, especially when it tries up there and fails. So let's go back actually, double check the oscillators here. You've dropped below the center line. It appeared to be resistance. You have put in what could potentially be an inverted head and shoulders on the RSI. You have put in the bullish divergence with a lower, no, you've not. You've not put in bullish divergence. And this is a downtrend, so a lot to pay attention to there. You're also, the negative trend is in the ascendancy. No strength to it yet, but that could change quickly because it's at a bit of a dodgy area. RSI in the 4 hours is in the bearish control zone. It'll take a while to get out of that, you would imagine. At the same time, you have found support, so I would like to see this momentum indicator change to the top side, and we could follow that with price later. You have a very strong strength of 10 to the downside here as measured on the DMI, especially this ADX following the DI minus up. You can see a touch of this potential divergence with regards to the strength of trend, but not really now. That's really actually accelerating. So we really want to see these lower time frames persist in their potential bullish posturing, and for that to turn into something concrete and significant on higher time frames. Tradespotting, this is an interesting time to see you live. Thanks, Campisi. Yes, Campisi. We have, it's Rocky's birthday. So most recently, before I made it down here, I was wishing him happy birthday as the clocks changed. And before that, I was working intensely on the course, which is why all the equipment, the stuff that doesn't make me look so like a waxy crayon, that's up there at the moment. And so we were filming the content for that before earlier, and when it got close to his birthday, I stayed to wish him happy birthday. And then we finished up a couple of things. So been busy doing that, and was doing that from the minute he stopped filming his live show. So there's been no breaks today. We had a little break to eat, but busy days. The links to that course, happy Rocky Day. Thanks, Luke. Yeah. The link to that course is there, pinned in the top of chat if you want to take part in leveling up your skills. That's the best possible way I can offer, is that course. I was asked to do it many thousands of times, and now here it is available. It's 12 weeks of intense learning. It's not just the material provided, it's along with that an environment and a structure and an academy of sorts. It's all about helping you the best possible way we can. And so it's not light on material, it's not going to be light on the effort it'll take to complete it, nor is it cheap. So there is the best I can do for you is that course. It starts, matriculation has started. Today is the first day you can sign up for it. The first day of classes is Friday. You'll be expected to complete it and all the assignments along with the homework before Monday. And that's when the next class starts and we get into the nitty gritty. Subsequent to that, there'll be a class every Monday. In total, there'll be 12 classes. And it'll come with a degree of coaching. There'll be recaps. And there'll be loads of different ways to help you get the most out of it. You don't have to follow along at that pace. You can take it at your own speed, though you can't go any faster, because I don't believe, and nor does Rocky, that there's any way you could learn all the lessons that we put across in less than a week anyway, and you have to do your homework too. So some people have got other things and responsibilities in life on top of that, and the idea that you'd be able to put 4 years, which is what is 2 to 4 years of experience, depending on how good you are at learning, would you be able to get that in 12 weeks? Well, I think personally you're going to need to go through the course a couple of times, and it's structured so that you can get the most out of it should you be doing that. It's also built up in such a way as that it's approachable and easy to get started, even if you're completely new to technical analysis, and it'll get harder without you noticing. Your skills will improve beyond your expectations and faster than the difficulty of the material, though that does get hard very quick. And that's testament to the course. We put effort to make it like that. So sign up if you want to take part in it. This is not a hard sell. It's more of an information notice that course that so many people have asked for, that isn't like other courses on the internet. You know, it isn't. It's all proprietary. It's all devised by us for you, and in the best possible way to help you take advantage of the lessons that Rocky and I, between us, have spent the best part of 40 years learning, shitloads of money ourselves. Like personally, my own education has cost close to $500,000, and a big chunk of that was paid for by investment banks who taught me and sent me on courses to learn lots of things like this, and along with the mentality and psychology that's necessary to be good at trading. And all of that experience and all of those lessons I hope to impart in this course, and delivered over 12 weeks. So if you want to become a better trader, check out the link in the description. It's the top link, and it's also in the chat box. So that's what we were talking about. We all said we wanted to see something concrete on the 4 hours, with the positive posture on the lower time frames picking up. And there's back to the daily time frame. You can see the RSI looks to be putting in the opposite of this inverted head and shoulders that we saw on the lower time frames. This looks like a head and shoulders. You failed the center line. You've also potentially got a head and shoulders here. It's not at the top of a significant trend when you're looking at this daily time frame. You are technically in a downtrend, though these highs are coming in and around that downward sloping supply line that's relevant on this time frame. So questions to be asked. Head and shoulders most commonly fail, so I don't put much emphasis on that. Let's turn off the drawings so it's slightly clearer here. That's not the drawings. Can I please not see the drawings? No. What does that turn off? And what is going on? Drawings there instead of indicators. Right, so daily time frame. It's true to say that this thing is still consolidating at resistance. It's very positive. Yeah, sure, there's an arrow flash down here at $10.88. There's also a new strain of the coronavirus, which has got more than 50% of the spike proteins have mutated, which reduces the efficacy of the vaccine. Despite that, the stupid governments all over the world are saying, well, we just need more vaccine. Just like, that's not the way it works, but okay. And how do you combat that? Well, you have to hope that equities continue to rise in this potential dodgy situation, and that AMC puts in its own negative beta against important things like those two bonds that we talked about earlier. We'll do the T on them shortly. So you're really looking for this thing to continue this positive consolidation. You see it's putting in a similar formation that it did back here. The only difference being this experienced a significant retrace from $20 back down to 5 and lost 75% of its value in that move. But that wasn't it blow off top all-time highs. That was just it reaching a previous level of resistance. It's only here that it's then gone into this blow off top territory, and you're looking to see if this parabolic move really materializes over a period of time, or if this thing doesn't show the same velocity that it had in its previous moves. And you can see there on the RSI, between those two peaks, real strength and real momentum. Ahead of that, you did have a similar formation here, though this looks different. It is very similar in that you managed to persist above the bearish control zone, had a number of touches down there, and when you broke your own moving average, you had another test of the center line, and then went on again. So you've got that. And if you turn up now, potentially things could be well. You have no strength of trend, though that positive trend is in ascendancy here on the daily time frame. So you need those 1 hour, 15 minutes, even right down to the 5 and 1 minutes to start going well. Going so well that things pick up on the longer time frames and things take off better. Retire off 5 shares. Opinion on Lou versus Wall Street. I haven't seen Lou's videos. I've only seen a couple, and they were ages ago. And one was somebody sent me one where he said it's not a movement, and his whole video was about insisting it's not a movement. And I was like, what? This like what? Why? Why is he saying that? It's like because he's got a captured attention of people, so he can then start putting manipulative comments out there like that one, which is not true. It's clearly a movement, and I thought that was a bit of a counterproductive move. And then before that, I'd seen him slagging off people that I personally don't like, but the way he was going about it was like, why are you doing that? That's not legitimately what they're doing wrong. It's not that they're making money, it's that the information they put out shit. But then you two are guilty of that, so he couldn't comment on that. So I don't know, right? I don't know about those things. On the other hand, and it's none of my business what anybody else does, right? And especially people who have their own mind and care about the things they're saying. And in some senses, that might be very true of Lou. And hey, it's not for me to make my mind up about people, Well, it is for me to make my mind up, but my opinion doesn't fucking matter. Everyone has one, just like an arsehole. Like, everyone's got one. and you know, quite possibly lose helping shitloads of people do good things. And if that is the case, who am I to judge him? So congratulations and more power to him. And then with a question like retire off five shares of AMC. Well, a lot of retirement means different things to different people, mate. I'll tell you that I grew up, and in my family we were poor, we were rich, we were poor, we were rich again, and then we were really fucking poor. And at different times, that question, what's enough to retire, you'd have answered it radically different. So I think that greed and fear play a big part in human psychology, much more beyond looking at charts and making trading decisions. How much is enough to retire? For me, it isn't money. What else am I going to do with my mind? You know, nothing stills my mind like charts. Like, I don't live to make money. My purpose is much greater endeavor than that. I'll keep trading after Moas, as the question was asked earlier. Thanks so much for that one. And I'll always be doing charts and doing trading. Like, you know, a lot of people would say I could do plenty of other things with my time and not trade. You know, would want me to be involved in their projects or endeavors like that. And but it isn't about that. You know, it's about what the charts do for me. That's why I love technical analysis. I love being my own boss, regardless of, you know, the activity that I happen to be doing. But this one, you know, you never have to rely on another person. Yo, the ghost of Dan. Fucking love you, mate. You never have to rely on another person. You never have to chase somebody else's dream. You never have to do what anyone fucking tells you. And you can make all your own decisions and live and die by them. You know, that's not something I'd ever want to retire from.
Just donated 6.9. They said porridge money.
Porridge money, legend. Thanks so much, KP. KP Cup. This fiver is given in celebration of me finally being able to sit down with my only mild pain without a feather pillow below me after last week. Ooh, great, excellent. A feather pillow. Yeah, they sound quite luxurious. You know, some people just get like those little lilos, sit on the edge of one. Or like, see, Dan, right? You're everything's going so well for you now, right? Never get a waterbed. Never get a waterbed. You'll only drift apart. Ha! Isn't that funny? No, somebody told me that joke once, and geez, at the time it sounded hilarious, but then I was very, very inebriated. So you're able to sit down again, Dan. That's good news. Who knows? You know, who knows where you'll be next week? You might be able to sit on anything this time next week. Well accomplished so much. Thanks, Rocky Outcrop and Tradespotting. Be proud. We are. I'm so proud of you guys. And Rocky. What a fucking inspiration and legend he is. Ghost Dan, could you recommend a pillow brand? I wonder who shares a birthday with me. There must be some people. Yeah, good question. IDMB will tell you the knobs. But there are other people. You want to get like the cool directors or like the really famous musicians. That's the best ones. Or who else? I don't know about the politicians thing. It's a bit naff, isn't it? It's like a music star, a cool director, as opposed to an actor. And then, I don't know, maybe like JFK, something like that. That'd be nice. But he's not got your birthday at all. I think he was months and months ago. Anyway, what am I talking about? Nothing, really. Actually, nothing. Happy birthday, Rocky. So, yeah, we did all this. We talked about AMC, and you're like, but you didn't do GME, Jimmy. And it's still very much why we're here. It's also up 1.15%. 202.01, that was the close. Currently trading at 200.94. Like I say, I do anticipate there'll be slightly... Damn right it is. I had a waterbed as a teenager. My parents could hear me jacking off like 10 times as loud as the water sloshed back and forth in my rhythm. Ha! Nice. Nice. Funny. So you probably, you know, you just sit there doing it even if you weren't actually giving yourself a jiggle whatnot. What did that listen the message? I missed that message there. Where is that one? As I already read it, is that what it was? Possibly. Or did I miss something? I may have missed something. Right, RJ Low, retire off 5 shares. That was you, RJ. Do I think you could retire off 5 shares in AMC? I don't know, like, don't know about that. It would depend what price you bought them at. Because like, you know, the percentage move from here to the top, which it may where will it be? and the percentage move from was down at 254. Then went up to, no, I'm on GME, so that's not going to help you. AMC answer. If you got it at 196 and you sold it at $71 and you had 5, like, you consider the percentage increase there. I'm not saying that this is like is or isn't unrealistic. We're talking about a fucking mother of all short squeezes and etc. So we will bear that in mind. That was a 3,453% increase on your $10. At that stage, if you bought 5 shares now, you'd be spending $300. And if you want to retire off that, I mean, what is retiring, right? We've talked about this on the channel before, right? Fuck you, money. What is that position, right? Is it 5 million? Is it 10 million? So much of it will depend on your overheads and your lifestyle and the other things you hope to achieve without having to work anymore. But 5 million, you know, that's like quite a nice figure. I like that idea. Other people will tell you it's not enough and that you'll have to keep going and that you'll never be able to enjoy it properly and that you really want to get through a slightly higher threshold at like 7 or 8 million. And at those people, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with all that money? So, I mean, you know, depending on what you're looking for. 5 shares, God, you'd be wanting them at $1 million each. Is that possible? I mean, it's all up to what the fellow market participants, because it's about the market dynamics, you know. So much of it is about how much of the float is available at any one time, and then where price persists throughout those rises. And I think it'll be a continuum, very much. This squeeze will be a continuum, and it'll depend a lot on the diamond-handedness of the market participants, because there'll be crazy moves. And if you're asking AMC to get to that price, you're talking about an incredible market cap, when we're also asking for the same thing to happen in GME, that which I suspect to be slightly more likely. And should it get to its incredible levels, you know, I do think there is enough money in the world economy to pay all of us exactly what we're due, but also the machinations within that will depend on certain things happening, right? And that may well be that AMC doesn't get to make it that high. It may well be that case, right? Depending on who these people are. Some of the people who play AMC, not these people. I mean, these people we all know, right? We do now. This is like all institutional players and the market participants are all pretty obvious, and so are their intentions. So very obvious. Whereas with AMC, you know, you're kind of like it's a different teammates, you know, very much different teammates. They themselves with different objectives, and so you're asking them to take it through certain levels, and their tolerance for risk at those levels might be a completely different equation from what yours is, and their objectives again might be completely different, and they might also be able to affect this particular liquidity of this particular asset at higher prices more than the other asset that we're talking about than this one. Jeez, I could just really stick to starting on GME and stop confusing myself. Here we are on the daily time frame, consolidating at resistance. You know, what is this? This is a Raj Cobra. It's going to go mental, isn't it? Like, this is higher lows, lower highs, a pennant. It's quite a clear one. It's dead obvious. Daily time frame, you could draw in things. We've already got plenty of drawings. The most likely result of this price action, I suspect, is that we come up, start forming a channel with these higher highs, then see some sort of a retracement before a crazy ass move. And when I say crazy, I mean crazier than anything we've seen before in GME. And that's fucking crazy. So downward sloping supply line here. You've managed to wick through it a couple of times. Not all that different from the macro formation that we're seeing on the daily time frame on AMC. Not all that different. You're looking for a higher low, at least on this asset, you're actually miles away from where that would be. So the question is, does it actually make there? You know, there's a support line in it around or a resistance line at $209. And it would have been great to see GME finish above there, in particular today and tomorrow, and then for the later stage of this week to get even stronger, finishing up above 216. That wouldn't be much of a move. Then 222 again, not all that significant until you reach levels around 230. These horizontals, resistance levels, it's where you broke down, it's where you couldn't recover from, it's where you wicked back up to, it's where your body closed on passing moves, and it's where you put in a shoulder here on this particular move. So I expect this to be a much more important level. It's also looking at this thing, you could see if you start going up through the time frames today, you're already putting in higher highs than your body closes and then creating like real positive structure on really significant time frames. Let's work them down from the weekly, where you can see you've got a higher high on a weekly close than these previous highs in at around 16th of August. So the last time you had a high and this time it's higher. The 3-day time frame, look at that for a linear progression. It's beautiful, right? That's beautiful. Also comes in with proper retests of horizontals, not annoying diagonals. It gives you like really robust trading. It's like, I love that, right? I wouldn't care what asset it was on if I was seeing this. And the fact that it's on GME, it's just like the stuff that dreams are made of. Up comes your upward sloping demand line, meeting this crucial downward slope and supply line here. Where is price action going to rest when these two lines meet at the apex of this formation? Should it be above this currently resistance, right? At the same time, right, you would be exiting a formation in a positive fashion, a formation itself that's very bullish, which you entered as on the back of a fucking massive steam train. You know, these sort of things continue to the top side, down to the daily time frame where we were when we started. Let's slap the all button, see how it makes little or no difference there. This is what I think will happen. You've got this line going through here. It represents our most recent high. These areas you weren't able to break through and likely forms a degree of resistance. It also comes around the 786 if you're talking about the first week in December. Subsequent to that, if you do push up to these levels at that price, at this price at these times, then things could then, second week of December, be pretty crazy. You'd be testing this high, this so significant high. Because if you look here and you see on the daily time frame, sure, we had these crazy ass moves looking left and our blow off tops. But our body closes at this stage, you know, they were all negative candles and they were all coming down. And we never had bullish closes above this price, above $300. Never had a bullish daily close on GME. Never, ever, ever above $300, right? And like, there you go, working down higher time frame analysis, drawing on a structure, providing some clarity, differentiating between assets. These things come naturally. I apply them all the time, every day, and will do forever as long as God lets me, doing free videos on YouTube that help people learn by osmosis. But I'm applying techniques that you can learn, and it won't take you 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 18 years. It could take you 12, 24, 36 weeks if you click that link and join that course that I've got in the description. So what else are we talking about here? Well, we got down to the daily time frame. We saw a lot of positive news about GME right on the 4 hour there. There's like a couple of positive things that were suggested in our drawings there. The range that we might see with regards to volatility, should we break through any of these important horizontals. At the minute, you're in a hard range with this low, likely at 191, providing some degree of support should you reach it. Wicks likely touching 198, and short-term, tiny time frame, probably a bounce. But if you're moving towards the downside, it would be a continuation of this formation, and we've not put in any significant breaks to the top side, 209 being that important one we talked about on the daily time frame. Here on the 4 hour, you're clearly below it. The RSI, it touched into the bearish control zone. Since then, it hasn't yet recovered its own moving average. Never mind got anywhere near the center line. The negative trend is in ascendancy, and you can expect continuation in those scenarios. There's your 1 hour. Let's see what that's looking like at the minute. You have managed to test the center line, come back down, persist above the bullish bearish control zone, and recover your own moving average. But this is all knocking off a center line, right, on the negative side of it. And flux on the DMI, zero strength on the ADX. That means that the trend that's currently in play is in flux, and the strength behind it is weak. Bing bong, bing bong. Guitar inside. How's it going, buddy? So that's what we're thinking on the 1 hour time frame, 30 minutes. You can see some degree of positivity here with above the center line. The DI positive in ascendancy and the ADX giving it some support. 15-minute time frame, flash volatility coming up. Move from here might not be maintained. We may return back again. Here's your 15-minute. Again, you're above the center line and above your own moving average, but you would have liked to have seen something more with regards to the positive incline on this indicator, having seen such a dull 30-minute positive sign. You got that volatility coming in here so very obviously. 5 minutes, boom, starting already. Might happen to the top side. Your resistance 209 above that, 214 to 216 is a zone. Let's turn on the Bollinger Bands here and go back to that 4-hour. Look at that with regards to those horizontals we talked about. Top side of these horizontals that we're looking to, 256, breaking all your wicks and bodies on any positive news for ages. Get above 300 and it's forever. Down here, 248, that sort of level. We expect to find some resistance along these levels, although it might not be significant. In 236 to 237, it's this horizontal here to that level, this horizontal from 230 to 237, where you're going to expect there to be a lot of liquidity. And so this potential move to the top side, that's an expression of the range that's probable due to the volatility, and top side of that coming in at that lower level of support might mean if this does result in a positive move to the top side, then 230 would perhaps be where I would set my expectations. Lower term, lower side, we've got this Bollinger Band coming in. You know, give it another couple of days and it'll be down at 182. So you could easily touch that and not think that you'd broken anything crazy extreme. You could persist with that and trace it down to touch these higher lows, and maybe you would get that bargain basement buy at 169 to 171. You look left on the charts here on the 1 hour time frame, and you can see there is this little gap there. There's been a bad mudder. We need to investigate it. And who is better than us? The Hercule Poirot of the charts. Thus, well, nobody is, right? So, and they're down to the 30-minute time frame. There's your Bollinger Bands. Let's turn on these moving average and get a perspective of this short-term trend. Your 15-period simple moving average is close below the 200. That comes with this question mark over volatility. So you tell me what that means for trend. Tradespotting, listening to you give your analysis is poetic as you see the charts as clearly as your native language. Wow, CD Burn Guy, you're such a fantastic dude to have here. Thanks so much for saying nice things about me. It's dead appreciated. But it's Rocky's birthday and he's the one that deserves all the credit. He brought me to YouTube. He ensured that I stuck at this when it was difficult years and years ago. He's always helped me get better at learning things. This in particular. And today is his birthday, and he helps me present the course. Of course, it's both of us that do it. Of course, my horse. Plot your own course. Right, so here's your 169. Wow, would love it. 171 to there's interesting. 182 to 188. These sort of levels down at 191. They're nearly a stick on if you ask me, but hey, what do I know? We could go up from here. It would be amazing. Let's go down to the 1 minute time frame, and then, because we like to make it hard for ourselves, start on this, undo the replay. Go away that thing. Get this thing up. Where's your 26th and where's your 29th? Started as it meant to continue. 26th, can you, thanks. It's a very short day we had there on 26th. Right, you owe.
Corey just donated 3.33. They said happy birthday Rocky, you legend, sign of the horns.
Sign of the horns. What's weird is sign of the horns nonsense? You've got a flash in 1 minute at 209. 201.9, so we'll see what happens. Does that get filled? You've recovered your own moving average. You've tested the bearish control zone. At that point, you have potentially, looking between these, put in hidden bullish divergence should this retrace above a 236. So let's slap that on. Bing bong, the prices are wrong. Thank you so much. CD Burn Guy, buy Rocky a pint. Wow, I'll buy him 2. Thanks so much, buddy. Cheers, CD Burn Guy. Pratik, please wish Rocky a happy birthday and get him and yourself a pint on me. That's brilliant. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 pints. Probably more, actually. Well, it depends where you go. It's 4 and change in most places. Thanks so much, Pratik. It's appreciated. And yourself, Steve One Guy. Holy shit. It goes to Dan. Rocky Outcrop, your payment processor won't take my Amex or MasterCard. Am I stupid? Or is it a website? Dan, you huge stupidio. Holy shit, the wheel's gone crazy. How did that happen? That already? Hi, my adjustments did not work. Thank you so much. To go buy my pajama. Maybe when AHT turns around, I can own it too. Yes, I suspect. Well, if and when it turns around, you can own a lot of things. Come on, AHT. What the hell are you doing, eh? Like, I would say that, yeah, Omicron, Bromicron, stick it up your fuck off-a-con. We've all priced in potential retraces and the idea of a new variant ages ago, you know, like even the idea that people wouldn't wear their masks properly has been priced in ages ago, right? We don't give a flying fuck about the news. We know that the people who control it want to control you. If it means, even if it was fucking true at this stage, fuck off news. We're not fucking interested, right? We never fucking were, right? We're never fucking interested, but in particular, we're not interested now.
The atom is how and hashtag 39. Re is lovely. Can't wait to flip some not GME to pay for my schoolings.
Boom, boom. Flippity flip flips. I don't see this on my list, but I know that you said it. Oh, there it is there. No, where is it? Yeah, there it is there. Haha. Thanks for the late night stream. No worries. Never break the chain, manifest. The atom is, how is lovely. Can't wait. Flip some not GME to pay for my schoolings. Day schoolings. It's a 12-week course. You can join it anytime. There are coaching sessions. If you join it in the same cohort as the most people at the start, you're likely to get the most community value from people around the same time as you, but everyone will progress at different times. So there is no requirement to join immediately. I can tell that wheel making now stranger noises than ever it has done before. Frankie's Diner! Happy birthday, Rocky. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. Look at that interesting picture. I like it. I like it a lot. Thanks. And Rocky, you being a secretarial there. Thank you very much. Fix it, Rocky. Fix the things. It's your birthday. Time to fix things, Rocky. So this potentially could put in an inverted head and shoulders down here at the bottom side of the trend. Tried once, failed. You got this low. You know, let's see then. I mean, I'm saying this looking at a 1 minute time frame, talking about something that might take 2 weeks, but you know, you could put in this, and then you could put in some sort of fake where everyone thinks you're going to go down, fill that 1 hour gap, and you don't. You come back up again, higher low. Bullish divergence to go with it. That would be nice. You've got hidden bullish divergence here should you go back above the 236. That's what I saw. Yeah, we can take it from this line. We can take it from a number of places, but this one's not crazy. And you're looking for this to persist to maybe 1 hour, 4 hours. Open closes above 201.55. Potentially at that point, you call this a local low. You could say this was hidden bullish divergence. You could look for a move to the top side. That might be something like, you know, if you're on the daily time frame and below it, you'd aim for the 200. You're on this time frame, you don't have that. So instead, you'll look maybe to the 618 in that golden pocket. That's up at around 206. And that would take you a little bit of the way towards these resistance at 209 and change, and then top side of this move in this wick high in the bottom side of this liquidity zone that I reckon you'd persist in. The extension on this move, should you break back above those levels in 216, then it's back up to 220, 222 again. That's the 1618 extension on this Fibonacci. It could happen from this move if you hold above the 236 without going lower. You hit the golden pocket, come back, don't go below, say, 382 at that stage, and then turn around, break the 786, break the 886, test those levels before going up, then you're heading to the 1618, and it's not a crazy move. It wouldn't break structure, but does it persist, or is it consistent with the TA that we did from the other time frames down? Well, on the big high ones, those big high massive ones, aye. But on these smaller intraday timeframes, you're yet to see that strength coming through. So here it is, 1 minute throughout the day, had that continuation above the 236, hit the golden pocket. Fantastic. Came back. Your 8-period moving average caught you. I don't know if you're able to see it here. Maybe I should make this bigger. And that would, at that stage, seem very positive for your 8-period moving average catching prices. Though that didn't persist. You came back below it, and the 50 and the 200. You then did put in, where's my RSI gone? Here we are at that stage when you put in that low. Positive Subsequently, another touch of bullish divergence potentially. So we'll see how things go. You know, it could be that this is accumulating here at this level. The RSI would suggest that with this particular foray into the bearish control zone and the quick rejections along with this positive move now. Strong strength of trend here. It's 1 minute though. Back up then to the 15 minute. Just taken over. Volatility showing up. There is going to be a move. Likely it is that one we talked about to these areas above. If it isn't, well, nobody will be surprised to see 197. People will like 191. And I would absolutely love to get some more of this at 169. I'd absolutely fucking love it. You know, a test of that and moving on, right? I'd be like, this formation continuing, right? That's what this is. I know we're only in the 15 minutes, but like this is a higher high than back here. RSI, so you've got loads of momentum that took you there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's likely to continue, right? That's likely to continue. The rate of change there, very, very significant. That continues with higher lows here. Wow, what a sinking move down here. So very violent on your RSI. Price action followed it down, but that trend has changed in momentum, and you confirm yourself above the center line after a move like that. That's like, here's your retest, and everything about that screams retest. If you hold horizontals while you're doing that, it's really important, right? And the significance of them, if they're higher, great, you'll test higher on the next move. If they're lower, then you like to see it on significant time frames. So I'd be back here talking about how I ever have done since we put in this higher weekly high close, that subsequent to seeing a higher weekly high, that's great, right? It's the first half of an uptrend. Previous to that, we were preceding it with higher lows on the weekly time frame, which is great. So if we now put in further higher lows, then it's only logical and to a large extent perfectly sensible to then look to higher highs to start forming on the next leg of that trend that continues. And that's the GME TA. So we've talked about those things and covered them in a little bit of detail. Let's now drop back down. These are the 20-year Treasury bonds. Weekly time frame looks like it's going up. Why? Right? I don't know why, right? This is a stupid idea, right? It's a stupid idea that this would go up. It's a stupid idea, right? I could talk all about it, but, it's like whatever time in the morning it is now. 20 to 3. It's not desperately imminent right now. You pay attention to this. Unless you like money and care about your overall wealth and live in America, which is fuckloads of people. And holy fuck, what's going on, by the way? Why were they even coming up here at this point? That's a stupid idea. And then Omicron comes out and it's like, well, who's going to pay for that? Well, not fucking me. I'm not paying for it. It's the governments. They're paying for it, and they're paying for it with these things. So they're not going to be worth that much. They're going to have to pump shitloads of money back in again. The idea that they're going to taper, that's not going to work. The idea that they're going to be able to increase interest rates, well, fucking inflation's going to start flying again. No, they didn't fix the problem. It isn't the supply chain problem. It's that they're fucking stupid and for some reason don't understand things that everybody else seems to think are plain as fucking day. Everything's getting more expensive. Wages haven't been going up in line with it, to the point that nobody wants to get another fucking job. And this thing's putting in a head and shoulders, right? It's even like it's above the 200 period moving average. That's great. The 50 period it's also above the 200 period moving average on the weekly time frame. That's fantastic. At the same time, price action is putting in a head and shoulders. It's below that 50 period moving average. It has recovered the 236 from this. Well, it has persisted above the 236 from this move here, which is the Fibonacci drawn from this low in the 15th of October up to this high. Let me just get it exactly on there. If it wants to move. No, it doesn't because I'm on a brush. Great. That's just really great, Jamie. So there's exactly your high, your 236. It came down, it touched that, it touched the 200 period moving average, and it got a bounce. Whoopty fucking doopty. That's about as obvious as the fact that GME is going to explode, right? So yeah, and these two things are linked. So you've got it then persisting above the 179, and then the lower Bollinger Band comes in at the 236. So now, if you break below the 236, which is already a bit of a fucking disaster, right? If that happens, why is this? Oh, that's not where the 236 is. This likes to move along with me. Pardon me, folks. right? So now if you break below the 0.5, cool, well, you'll be retracing back below what you would expect to see in a positive trend. So that's not great. Then you'd also be breaking below the 200 period moving average and your most recent horizontal. So that'd be shit. Plus you'd be going through your Bollinger Band, which is absolutely fucking shit. So those are loads of shit things that would be happening if price on this goes to 141.73, which when it's currently at 149.32 doesn't seem like all that much of an ask, right? Though an ask at that price would be an absolute ass about face thing to do. So what we're really looking for here is this, like, what to do what TA says it's to, which is likely that it gets completely fucked. It is above this moving average and it is above the center line on the RSI, but that's so weak. And this being below, they can't make it even into the golden pocket. Well, and it did, right? And the 3 times it made it there, it looked like it was about to choke and die. It then couldn't make it above the 50 period moving average, simple moving average on the weekly time frame. Why not, right? You've come down, you've double tested the 200, you come up, you double test the 50, and then it's like, well, you know, sure, let's see how long that fucking persists with your price action below a short-term moving average, but above a long-term one. Well, those two are going to converge. And what will be the nature of that convergence? Will be your 50 turning down and meeting the 200. Your 200 isn't going to come up here in any rush, especially not when you'll eventually be losing prices that were much higher than they currently are at the minute. Emphasized by the fact that you're currently below a shorter term moving average, right? You want to understand all of the things why that means. You will have to learn the course, right? Because I can't spend hours and hours on the live videos explaining moving averages to the degree that you need to. Listen, you need to take things like that course anyway, right? And it's not the hard sell. I'm going to shut up about it now. You can take that course and you'll likely save loads of money, never mind make it, which will also be my emphasis on helping you. So you've got this potential head and shoulders on this piece of shit thing, and like, why aren't the government doing more about fixing things anyway, right? It's because they want this to go up so that they can, like, you know, manipulate the money supply, not in a bad way. That's what they have to do. The mechanism for doing it is just they put themselves in a fucking corner, and they're a bit screwed here. Between these two highs, you've got horrible divergence that caused your 200 period retrace. That's on a weekly. You might have only expected to see it on a daily. There's your 3-day. You're below the 200. It's below the 50. You've had a death cross. You've tested that, and it looks like so far that cross is going to be legit. In which case, you're going to have a fucking measured move of this head and shoulders, melt people's faces. If you take it from the wick high and you say this is your shoulder low, which it would be with this breakout zone here previously, this one touch and then this wick before you moved up to put in the head, and then this retrace where you bounced off it once, retested it and went up again. So it's pretty obvious that that's the head. And so should that be the case, now this is going to be brutal, right? This is going to be brutal, and then you might not get the full thing. You might only get 60% of it. But the breakout from that thing will take you way back below that $100 down to $90 on a 20-year Treasury bond. Can you fucking imagine, right? Can you fucking imagine what that would mean? If that whole thing happened, it'd be a complete and utter fucking nightmare. And what does that mean, right? Well, it's a reality that quite potentially this thing could be facing a nightmare like it's never seen before, right? It's a 20-year Treasury bond. There's a potential that could happen now. You don't normally get to say that. Like, as in, you've never been able to say that. So let's say instead of taking that whole move, right, which is 134 down to 90, you get 60% of that 60. So what's that, like $40 or something instead? Somewhere around that region. Still taking you back below $100, you know, taking you in cut line with this previous low. Is that where your price action then rests after a massive disaster? Quite possibly could be, guys. You know, there's a low here too. That's where you're looking to if this thing collapses. If it doesn't and it goes up, great. Well, maybe you get a 1 second. Maybe I'm back. Done the sum star. Here I am back, and with a bing belong too. The price is wrong on this thing. Holy shit! It looks like it's completely fucked. And then, you know, in the same version, another version of the same thing. 30 missed calls. What? It's not even on silent. Oi, I'm back, and this time we're on the 5-year Treasury bonds. Was that what we were on at the time? What were we on at the time? We're on the which one were we on? I can't now even remember. We were this one, right? Because I've got my drawings. That's the 20-year. Which one was the TL? We're on TLT, right? Sorry, the camera's in front of my watch list. Yeah, that was the 20-year Treasury bonds. Yeah, so like, right. 20-year Treasury bonds. Whoops-a-daisy, that looks shit, right? And here you've got a Rocky Outcrop flash. I know it's a while ago, 3rd of January 2012, and you're looking at this, the 10-year, 7 to 10-year tracker coming back to $88. Is that possible in this thing? You fucking bet your bottom dollar is possible. The people that are responsible for this thing are fucking idiots, man. I can't believe what's happened to the world. Here's your other horizontals, top side of this thing that you're not going to get through in the short term, like Omicron or not. Fucking hell, how did they come up with that name? It's like, anyway, I'm not going to get started. Right, so then let's draw on the Fibonacci here, and I think this is interesting too. You're not looking for that whole move right now. I mean, I'm not interested in destroying the world, right? Certainly, it's not our fault anyway. We didn't fucking do this. Can we short this? You bet your bottom dollar you can short these things. That's what Citadel have been doing for ages, mate. It's what got them into this hole in the first place, is that they thought that because this was such an obvious move that they could extrapolate that out across loads of different assets. And then when it came to then starting making like the secondary, tertiary decisions that are important if you're in the continuum of risk, they instead applied all of their logic from these previous trades. They got caught up in this because somebody somewhere was an egotistical idiot and didn't know what they were fucking doing. Which is an easy trap to fall into when you were born a fucking idiot. Rocky has fixed the payment process, so now you on the course, so now no matter what card you're using, it should work fine. Thank you, Rocky. That can't be the missed calls. They're from so many different people, but if Rocky... No, I've just got messages from Rocky. Sorry if I did miss a call from you, Rocky. So tell people, Rocky says, tell people I fixed the payment processor on the course website so that people are now able to use it. Tell people I've fixed it. Yes, I've told them. I've told them a few times. You're now able to use it. Bing bong fannies, lunchtime. Oh my goodness. Wow, you get to eat. Lucky you, Ben. Back for a while. Why is renting and hosting Tradespotting a day? Yo, thanks so much for that, Rocky. Thanks so much for everybody who signs up to that course. You know, all of it's about improving your abilities, and it'll all go back into turning this into something really fucking significant. If you were in Rocky's chat earlier this morning, you'll have some idea of what our objectives are, and it's to make you as good as we possibly can at this, and then give you the tools thereafter, subsequent to when you've got good at it, to then work in a seriously good environment, doing incredible good things on your own steam. And plans on that are exciting, so think, keep it in mind when you follow through these processes. JS499, thanks so much. What a lovely, generous, happy crowd you are. Professor Doomslayer, yes, I think Ken and friends are messing with the live stream. Aye, the fuck, every time I try to talk about it, it's that which triggers it, eh? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how this thing needs to hold the 236. That's at $112. Currently, it's 115.11. Is it going to do that? That's a very, very, very big ask, right? It is actually a very big fucking ask for this thing. It's also putting in its own version of a Head and Shoulders. Its measured move will take it down to like, you know, maybe 105. I don't think this is the, you know, sure, people talked about an inverted, like a Head and Shoulders here, and then you got the exact same measurement of the move to the top side and hit this area, which we could probably draw in there and say it's like, maybe that's a 2618 in there, so at least one. So 1618 exactly on it, right? And then drop back down, hold the 786 of it. Great, great. Is that going to happen? No, it's already broken there, really. It's in at the 236. That's what it's aiming for. This horizontal level of support, I'd say that where we're at the minute, looking left, it should form some sort of degree of support, right? It should be resistant to the price going below it. But your momentum indicator, that momentum changes ahead of the price, okay? Because momentum, you know, would obviously have to have built up for a while to then change. And so that change would precede a price change. And that momentum is a measurement of that rate of change, i.e., momentum is the velocity of trend. So how do we measure that, and how do we measure trend, and so on and so forth? And if you know the answer to that, you're right. And there's a quote 236, and if it doesn't hold that, you maybe you're looking at the golden pocket. First off, I'd look to the 0.5, right? That would be my most extent to craziness on the short-term bonds here, and perhaps then you get another flip between the 10, 20-year bonds. And we'll see how that thing all evolves over the next while, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it only gets to the 382, but you know, it looks a little bit fucked to me, right? And at this stage with this, you know, looking between these two highs on this week, 3-day, no, not divergent, 2-day, You've got this head and shoulders now starting to look obvious. You've got the head and shoulders already playing out on the RSI. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. This could be support, significant. The horizontals are across here, 1, 2, don't count that. So 1, 2, and then a third test of it. So it's still significant, right? It's only just become real. 3-day time frame. You've got loads of touches here now. You can see all within here, loads of different little moves at this point. Are you holding it? Not really. Your 50 is below your 200 period moving average. On the daily time frame, you suggest that the trend may be contracting now. You're below the center line, you're below your moving average, and there's a big push up there in the DI minus. I haven't got it yet with the ADX, but we'll see what that's on the lower time frames. 4 hour here. But you're holding the center line, you've got a positive trend in ascendancy. Aye, right, believe that, you believe fucking anything. 1 hour time frame, good, right? You have got that, and it is there. It's just dropped outside the bullish control zone. It's not managed to make any dent on the horizontal top side there. This is a downtrend. If it continues back below the 236 on this tiny moves, then it'll start putting in bearish divergence again. Not that I care at this stage. I mean, I don't care anyway, but, turn off the Bollinger Bands so you get a little bit of a clearer picture on that. Moving average, cross to the downside, price not breaking horizontals. Slipping out of the bullish control zone isn't fabulous. It's not fabulous, Jamie. So, Jimmy, I can't see anything. Well, me neither. Prices need to maintain above 114.91. And, there you are, like a slightly higher level. We were talking about these levels where it was important, but the truth is, if it even drops below this, it's heading to the golden pocket. Then you'll be asking yourself, is that an inverted head and shoulder? I say, no, it's not. It's just the flux of it failing to make any dent on the top side. This is lower high. This is technically a lower low. And you'll see more of that. It'll take you to 1618, 112, 133. That's where it's going next, unless it bounces at this low, which it might do, but that would be new, right? It would be a kind of new thing. It doesn't happen all that often. Much more likely it goes here. 1 hour, 4 hour, that's the thing that gives it some degree of positivity. Well, I mean, not this thing down here, this positive accumulation on the RSI, and you've managed to persist above the bearish control zone and maintain that progression. If that continues, great, and you have got a degree of strength, perhaps not really. That DMI says it's not actually happening yet. So I suspect this 200 period moving average on the 4 hours resistance on the top side and continues to be so. Do you persist above the 50 period long enough to get it in a positive position with regards to 200? We've got a positive slope on a minute thanks to the strength of this move. But then you're down here on the 4 hour time frame. And if I turn off these drawings again, then you'll be able to see there's a huge gap that takes you down to that 113.94. Do you bounce there before you then put in those other horizontals? Maybe, right? Maybe, but being a bad murder, there's also an RO flash at 114.32. I mean, everything that's calling for this is below everything. So, and then when you get there, you've already been there recently, and it was a lower low in previous, and that would suggest there again a swing failure on the RSI, and there's a continuation, right? Bad news for these things, which is what we want, because it's great news for this thing. So you've got that there. So I hope I've helped there. Thanks everybody for being so very generous, and I hope I've answered questions that people's asked. I hope I managed to do the course justice. This wasn't marketing material. I didn't have some plan to say anything in particular, just to let everyone know it was there. Joe. So congratulations for making it through another episode of Tradespotting GME AMC. Hit that like button. Thanks for persisting through the bufferings and for your patience in waiting for me to get this show out. It's really appreciated. Thanks so much, everybody. And thanks, everybody, wishing Rocky happy birthday. He's had such a dedicated year to teaching people and doing things, which started off with no guarantee of success. Certainly no expectation of any return on it other than helping other people. Shit, have I been doing all this TA and squishing it behind me? There it is there. Look, it's fucked. And no, this is GME. This is brilliant. It's not fucked, but it does look like it's coming down with this Thank God, because we get more of it. And what was I talking about there? Yes, I did that. I talked about this course. We got another episode out. We all persisted through it. We've got clear expectations should things go down a little bit. So we're all steeled against that. We answered questions, one of which was about Lou. Hi, Lou. You don't know where we've been, Lou. And what else? We'll huddle on till we make the bears go long. Yeah, and we'll huddle on till make the bears go long. Karaoke Outcrop tomorrow morning, as every morning. Rocky Outcrop taking you through all the exciting moves on our favorite assets and others. Anything you want to have any questions about? The way you guys are operating to success was bound to come. Well, I mean, the success is will be measured by ourselves in how successful yous all are at taking the information on board, and that'll determine how good we think the course is performing, right? Because it's not how good I think the information in it is. It's effectively, how much of a difference it makes with you guys once you've done things. And so that's like a negotiation between how much information you let us stuff into your brains, and then how well you use it afterwards. So I hope that helps. And I hope you are able to make the most of it. And there's coaching and what am I talking about now? Of course, yeah, check it out, sign up to it. It's brilliant. Like, we put shitloads of effort in it, and I keep doing it. That's why I was late today. And yes, so that's it. I fed everything, and now I'm going on about stuff. Love yous. Thanks. Happy birthday. See you tomorrow. It's Rocky Outcrop's birthday stream, so that should be so much fun. Hey, Observe Yourself, how you doing? Pam, your hero. Yeah, she freaking is. Pam, I missed this morning. I did my squats though. Yes, how awesome. Great to hear it, Pam. Doing the squats too. Love you guys. Stephen K, 999. Thanks so much, Stephen. You're all very generous. All very generous. It's been a great Monday. Appreciate it loads. How many people tuned in here? Did I get to see it? 24 likes. No, not 24 likes. 115 people watching. Great. 143 likes. Not bad for this time at night. Thanks. It's appreciated. These are all great. Stephen K, there it is. Thanks. Right, so, yes. Tomorrow I'll be back for Tadpole Games. It's episode 10. It falls on the 30th of November. The 30th of November, a national day. National Rocky Day. What a fucking legend. Scotland is lucky to have him as a special son. I'm even luckier. He's the most special brother a boy could hope for. Thanks, Rocky. Thanks, chat. Let's fuck these guys up. Oh, and remember, and never forget,